I'm Frank Hyatt. For many years, more years than I can remember, or more years than I like to remember, I've been calling rugby league. And it's wonderful to go back in reverie to remember some of the great players, some of the great games of the past. And tonight, I'd like to take you back 20 years to the grand final in 1961 between St George and Western Suburbs. What great players were involved. And what a wonderful setting at the Sydney Cricket Ground. There are over 61,000 people there. And apart from the football, I'm sure you'll enjoy seeing the changes in hairstyles and the changes in dress of people from 1961 to 1981. The setting was there. St George and Western Suburbs were equal minor premiers. In the first round, St George won by 12 points to 9. In the second, Western Suburbs won 16-13. St George had won the semi-final by 9-4, so there was very little between these teams. And some great names were involved. For Western Suburbs, Arthur Summons, Keith Holman, Peter Diamond, Noel Kelly. What great names in rugby league. And then in St George, we had the great Norm Probyn, Reg Gasnier, Raper, Clay, Kevin Ryan, and, well, just such a galaxy of stars that it makes you wonder just how much better rugby league can be than in those great years. Well, they got started with the referee, Darcy Lawler, bringing colour to the game, and with the crowds coming from north, south, east and west, the setting was just ideal for this wonderful grand final of 1961. Let's have a look at it.
A crowd of 61,196 attended the Sydney Cricket Ground on September the 16th on the big occasion for the last rugby league match of the season, the grand final between St George and Western Suburbs.
Well, that was 20 years ago, and it's a long time to look back. We've had many pleasant memories, but always the grand finals stick long in the memory, and well, West are great opponents, and well, grand finals are always very difficult, very hard.
That 61 grand final that was my last game, and I was hoping that West were going to be lucky enough to knock over the St George team. They'd won so many on the trot.
Early in the morning, the weather was quite kind, but during the afternoon, it became overcast with intermittent rain falling. As you look around here, you can see sections of the crowd who really enjoyed this presentation of St George with the red and white banners coming through, led by the captain, Louis Wilson. Out on the field now are the boys to attend this great presentation.
West was always a tough team to play against. Played a similar style of football to St George, and we were unfortunate in the run-up to the grand final to lose our captain coach, Ken Carney, which threw a lot of pressure back onto the other members that were still in the side.
St George at this time, well, they'd won 5 grand finals. We were playing our 6th at that stage. I missed the grand final in '59 through injury. I played every game, but missed the grand final. Played in 1960, and this was my 2nd grand final.
But I do feel that we could have controlled them with Johnny Raper and Bobby Bugg and myself. Has got a very good understanding. We've played for many grand finals, and we talk together all the time, and I feel that we could have handled them, you know.
Now, Western Suburbs being led out by Keith Holman, and the boys at the gate paid homage to Keith Holman, who played his last game here at the Sydney Cricket Ground with the colours that he made famous in the little club at St Peter's. As you can see, the boys going right round in great admiration for Holman and his last game at the Sydney Cricket Ground this season, which was turned out to be his full retirement.
It was Keith Holman's last game after, without a doubt, a fantastic career. And probably one of the best careers any footballer could have in Australia.
I enjoyed playing against Holman. He was really one of the top great halfbacks, and tough as he was, he would never say die, that man, never say die on a football field. And I remember Holman that day. He went down fighting as he always did, not only in club games but also in test matches.
Now, the Eastern Command Band, which has appeared here at the Sydney Cricket Ground right throughout the season on the most important occasions. Well, it's action-packed as the crowd, as the boys of Western Suburbs move around in front of the M.A. Noble stand with the Magpie supporters over there, and the players of St George and Western Suburbs line up for the toss. But it has been a great season of rugby league, and the teams that have been knocked out of the semi-finals, such as Balmain and Western Suburbs, contributed to one of the greatest seasons this year in rugby league football.
We knew it was going to be a torrid hard, bustling type of game which West played.
With the strength, it was usually the first 10, 15 minutes of a game like a grand final, the softening up process. Western Suburbs had some pretty good forwards in that side too, and O'Shea and Charlton and Noel Kelly and company. And, there was no love lost in those first 10, 15 minutes.
Well, referee Darcy Lawler, right out in the middle of the pitch, waiting now for the kick-off to commence. Bobby Bugden, the former international halfback of St George, placing the ball down on the halfway mark with referee Lawler alongside of him. Bugden moves into this one, and the big game's on at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The ball's fielded here downfield in the Western Suburbs 25 yards mark. And from the ruck play here, referee Darcy Lawler puts down the first scrum 20 yards out from the Magpies line. On the run to pick up the ball is the former rugby union international Arthur Summers to work the scrum. Down they go in a full-blooded effort from the front rowers, but the ball's heeled back here. And once again, Lawler asks for the ball to be placed in. In it goes. West win this one. Holman gets it out to Martin. Martin moving up the centre of the field is caught here and quickly brought down. There's a good tackle there to mark him was Brian Clay. The ball's picked up by Kelvin O'Shea, who gets his supports moving the pass going out to Hayes in the headgear, who fumbles, drops the ball. Holman tries to gain possession, but Provan gets up, playing the ball back here. In a flash, has gone out to Raper, gives a long pass, and running off him is Bugden. Bugden makes the break, takes play, kicks downfield. It comes off the chest of Parrish and goes into touch over on the hillside of the Sydney Cricket Ground. The second scrum forming up. Summers works the scrum, in it goes. Locked in the tunnel. Both hookers are on the ground here, but Bugden clears the scrum here. The pass going out to Brian Clay. Clay gets his supports moving with the pass going out to Brown, who fumbled the ball, which is picked up by Lumsden. Lumsden props, comes inside, but the referee has blown the whistle and scrums them up once again. Summons number 7 working the scrum for the Magpies. In goes the ball. Bugden on the alert, picks up, moving nicely around the scrum base, gives it back inside beautifully to Clay, who moves down towards the Western Suburbs line, couldn't get the pass out, and was tackled ball and all, which is picked up from him by Summons, who veers out towards the hillside of the Sydney Cricket Ground. Summons is caught here, spit on the ground by Bugden. Arthur Summers, number 7, plays the ball back to the ruck half in Barsi, who gets his support with to Charlton from Chipper Martin. Martin wending in amongst the forwards of St George there to bring him down was Brown. From the play the ball, Carson clears the ruck this time with a pass going out to Charlton. Charlton is tackled here by Provan. Round the Magpies 25 yards mark as Charlton plays the ball back to hooker Kelly, who gets his support swinging the pass to Hayes in the headgear. Hayes is brought down, quickly tackled, marked in the play the ball by Ryan, but Carson clears it this time with a pass to Kelvin O'Shea, who once again is tackled by Provan. But the referee Darcy Lawler has given a penalty here to Western Suburbs, offside in the ruck St George. Coming up to take this particular penalty kick is Kelvin O'Shea, who kicks out towards the hillside of the Sydney Cricket Ground, going into touch, is signalled by the touch judge. And no doubt you can see the big crowd over there on the hillside as this scrum goes down once again. Bugden works the scrum. It's won by the Magpies. Holman gets his supports from the pass going nicely across field to Martin. Martin's hemmed in here and brought down, tackled by Gasnier with the help of Lumsden. Play just over the halfway mark as Martin plays the ball back this time. It's gone in amongst the centres where Brown of Western Suburbs picks up, plays the ball back once again to Charlton, who gives a spear pass nicely infield here to Summers. Summers moves beautifully downfield as Temple pierced the St George defence, comes away from Graham, chase from behind and quickly put on the ground here. The ball rolls loose and picked up by Provan. Provan brought on the ground here on the Western side as Brown alongside of him picks up for St George. Kevin Brown plays this one back, and the ruck half position is Bluey Wilson, who clears it too nice with a pass to Clay. Clay looks for Lumsden, gives it to Lumsden. Lumsden's tackled by Kelvin O'Shea and thrown on the ground. Lumsden getting to his feet to play this one back as Mark Patch drove at the ball, but Provan clears it this time. But a penalty here to St George. Wilson, who has possession of the ball, as St George captain, gives the ball back in turn here to the fullback Brian Graham to come up and take this kick. Graham kicks for touch with a full-blooded effort to a signal by the touch judge, going into touch just this side of the halfway mark. One huge sea of faces over on the hillside as the scrum breaks up with St George winning it. It's gone out to Clay. Clay moves down towards the halfway mark, turns the ball beautifully in field to Graham, and the St George fullback is brought down, playing the ball back here. Kevin Ryan, the dummy half, gets it to his supports there. A fumble by Provan. The ball's along the ground, and Western Suburbs appear to have possession just over the halfway mark. And from the ruck here has gone to Mark Patch, who veers out to the hillside, tackled by Provan. Play just on the halfway mark as this time West have possession once again with the ball being made. Did the job here. The long pass going across field to Holman, who's brought down here from the play the ball. It's played back once again. Out to the hands of Kelvin O'Shea with St George forward standing up. Kelvin O'Shea puts his boot to the ball, goes over the head of King, into touch. Johnny King with the ball in possession at the moment as they scrum down. Over on the hillside, Bugden gets his pass away to Clay. Clay full of running, his tackle here. Tried to get the pass out, couldn't do so. It's on the ground and picked up by Raper. Raper tackled just over the halfway mark by Hayes.
We concentrated on the forwards and getting in there and really giving them some in the forwards itself. But then when we got the ball, the tune changed and the Western Suburbs forwards were surprised that we never got into them. You know, the tough clashes which they expected. They seen the ball flying out to the open to our wing three-quarters, and if I remember rightly, like, you know, that's where a lot of our tries were scored.
Once a jolly swagman camped by a billabong and invented the barbecue. It cooked steak so perfectly that despite a few teething problems, nothing could dampen people's enthusiasm for it. And now, with a little help from electricity, Breville have ironed out even the teething problems with the country griddle. It has a cast iron cooking surface which spreads equal heat over the whole griddle and retains it. So you can cook enough steak for 6 to 8 people wherever you can plug into electricity. Breville, better ideas sooner.
Ever notice when you shave how the blades get clogged? Well, here's the solution. Push clean blades in the Ultra Pivoting Head Razor from Schick. Just press this bar, rinse, and the twin blades are cleaned.
Ultra's pivoting head, working together with Push Clean blades, gives you a closer, smoother shave. And Push Clean blades fit G2 and contour razors.
For an ultra-close, ultra-clean shave, get Ultra Pivoting Head Razor from Schick, the one with Push Clean blades.
Do you excel with your jam tarts? Do you excel with your fresh bread and jam? Do you excel with your jam cakes, your jam scones, and your jam pancakes? How nice it is to say, as Sir Henry Jones often did, I excel with everything I do.
Having Chinese takeaway tonight? Can't wait to get it home before it gets cold? No, Wallace. It's a meal that can't go wrong. Honorable Chinese food contains finest ingredients snap frozen to seal in goodness. Like curried prawns, combination fried rice, braised chicken, or steak and black bean sauce, all with delicious vegetable. Honorable Chinese food fresh from your supermarket freezer. Why not dine out at home tonight?
But referee Darcy Lawler has scrummed them down. Almost on the halfway mark is Clay with Bugden working the scrum of St George. Down they go. Both hookers struggling on the ground here. As you can see from here, and the whistle has gone. This time it's against the former international hooker Kelly, backing with a loose arm. Now Brian Graham coming up to take this particular kick for St George. Brian Graham has been a great custodian for St George this season. Kicks for touch at the hillside of the Sydney cricket ground. And so now Clay will travel down 20 yards out from the Magpies line on the Randwick end. Down they go for the scrum with Arthur Summers, number 7, endeavouring to work this scrum. Plenty of weight in the scrums of St George. You can see Raper pushing his heart out there. And the ball's won by St George. It goes across field to Gasnier, who turned it in field to King, who came nice in from the wing. Young King plays the ball back here. It's picked up by Raper to Clay. They made the fumble. The ball's picked up by O'Shea, who gets his pass to Patch. Patch appears to have knocked on. And the referee, Lawler, will scrum them up for the knock-on resulting from Patch. Arthur Summons, the halfback of Western Suburbs, picking up the ball. You see plenty of weight in that pack of O'Shea and Raper down his knees, with O'Shea pushing just as hard too. In goes the ball. But penalised here as the second row play, and a penalty to St George against the halfback Arthur Summers, placing the ball in the second row. Now Brian Graham coming up to take this particular penalty kick from the breach there. Brian Graham moves into this one. It's in the air, and look at it, it's a magnificent kick going right between the posts. Well, the big crowd here certainly stopped right till the end of this thrilling climax of the season to see who was going to take out the coveted premiership of 1961. The ball's in the air out towards the hillside of the Sydney cricket ground, and so play now has swung up to St George 25 yards mark. In goes the ball placed by Bugden, but it's gone across field to Holman, who gives it to Diamond. Diamond couldn't handle the ball. It's picked up by O'Shea, and Big O'Shea dropped the ball and more or less was ruled offside by the referee, Darcy Lawler. Louis Wilson with the ball in hand gives it back to Brian Graham. Graham coming up to the mark and drives it well downfield, getting great distances with his kicks today. The same Brian Graham kicked it into touch over on the halfway mark, more or less, on the hillside of the Sydney cricket ground. The low rain fell right throughout the afternoon. It was quite entertaining football for the big climax here. Here's Gasnier making the break, man brought in on the halfway mark, gets to his feet. But once again, play has moved in centre field on the western suburb side of halfway. St George have possession with a pass going out to Brian Clay, who draws the western suburbs defence, gives a perfect flick pass to Eddie Lumsden, the world's best winger, who goes helter-skelter down on the Randwick end of the Sydney Creek ground to put it down for the first St George try.
We had a pretty good back line, and that's where we intended to play it. As a centre three-quarter, playing outside Brian Clay, well, it was always a great help. Pop, as we called him, and he used to look after us. He used to serve a great pass, give us every opportunity to make the break.
And a mighty executed movement there by Brian Clay, and Brian Graham moves in to take the conversion, going right between the posts to add the extras, and his boys move up once again. And now Parrish resumes play from the halfway mark with a kick well downfield, and St George possession. This time it's Wilson who clears the ruck, gets his pass proven, it's gone across field to Brown. Brown racing downfield is caught by Martin and dragged on the ground, taken ball and all. From the play the ball this time, it's hooker Peter Armstrong who clears ruck with the pass going around the blind side to Raper. Raper veers down towards the hillside, quickly tackle, marked in the play the ball by Neville Charlton. Armstrong once again gets his support from the pass to Wilson, running wide of the ruck, sends it to Clay. Clay steps out an attempt of tackle, still goes down towards the halfway mark. Powerful tearaway type play, hard man to bring down, but the ball rolls loose away from him on the halfway mark.
Clay was also a man that was able to match his wits with the forwards also. He was tough enough to do that. He wasn't a fast man, he was a comparatively slow man, but a man with plenty of football fundamental brains, men and plenty of guts.
But Western Suburbs have possession just on the halfway mark. This time it's Hayes who clears the ruck with a pass going nicely across field. The Western boys are trying to shot the ball around here and eventually caught in possession as Martin dragged to the ground. From the play the ball this time, it's gone out to Charlton. Charlton gets it away to Holman. From Holman, it's gone across field to O'Shea, who drives it well downfield. Play out towards the hillside of the Creek ground. Brian Graham makes the fumble, picks up, gets it away to Johnny King. Johnny King sidesteps here, goes in amongst the Western forwards and is brought down. St George have possession with King playing the ball back here. Goes to the hands of Proven, who gets it away nicely this time to Bugden. From Bugden, it's gone across field to Johnny Raper. Raper moving out towards the western side. Drawing his man Gasnier in. Gasnier couldn't get to the flick pass of Raper. Put it on the ground. But Western Suburbs have possession here this time with Kelvin O'Shea getting his pass away to Parrish. From Parrish to Martin to Hayes. Hayes moving out towards the hillside of the Sydney Creek ground. Gets his pass away nicely to Diamond. Diamond is brought down. Western Suburbs have possession here just inside the halfway mark. Going to this time is Charlton, but it's quickly caught, tackled by Wilson, slipped the pass away, and Western Suburbs have possession on their own 25 yards mark. Hooker Kelly plays the ball back this time. It's gone to Patch. Patch crashed in amongst the forwards, but quickly and well brought down there. The good tackle by Ryan. West have possession once again as Charlton. The whistle has gone as Charlton had the ball in the penalty here to Western Suburbs with Kelvin O'Shea taking this kick, kicking out towards the hillside of the Sydney cricket ground. But nicely taken here by Brian Graham, who stepped away from the attempt of tackle and shot the pass away to Bugden. Bugden gives it to Johnny King. King comes up towards the halfway mark, boots well downfield and chases the ball, which is bouncing away at random near Summons and also Parrish. But Parrish picks up, stepped away from King with a sidestepping run, still going goalwards. Out towards the hillside goes Parrish, chase him behind and eventually brought down here. And players mid the half and 25 yards mark on the Randwick end and the Western Suburbs territory. Carson has possession, clears the ruck this time. And the flash has got a Charlton, gives a one-handed pass this time to Hooker Kelly, who's moving out towards the hillside and as quickly is brought down. They're over on the hillside, one huge sea of faces here with a big crowd of 61,196 have stopped right to the end to see the climax of this very hard-fought grand final. Holman put on the ground on the Western Suburb 25 yards mark, but he has played the ball back here to Hayes, who gets his supports moving with a pass going across field with the durable Kelly. Kelly is brought down here, tackled by Clay and Wilson. But the ball's heeled back here once again. Tipping off the ground is Carson, the hands of Charlton. Charlton gets out towards the hillside, stepped out an attempt at tackle, moved away from another one by Ryan, was brought down here. Let's slip the pass away, but it's on the ground, picked up again by Charlton, who is offside here, and the referee, Darcy Orler. Hello, West have possession once again from the ruck. It's gone right across the three-quarters. And eventually brought on the ground this time is Brown, who gets to his feet, playing the ball back this time. It's speared well downfield and eventually picked up by Martin. He's moving nicely downfield, but once again is caught. Play almost on the halfway mark. Rain coming down at several parts during the avenue of this game. Western Suburbs have possession this time with the pass going out to Carson, to Hayes, to Charlton. Charlton tearing up towards the halfway mark, has put down once again. Played dangerously close to the halfway mark in this very hard-fought grand final. Not on the spectacular, but believe me, it's been a real hard game right throughout. Moving downfield this time is Barzi, who has gone without the ball. But he gets to his feet, playing the ball back here. Picking up is Carson, from Carson to Charlton to O'Shea. O'Shea brought on the ground at the halfway mark. No quarter or given asked by the forwards of respective sides. This time it's Charlton picking up on the halfway mark, trying to break through. Turn the ball back in field to Carson. But now St George have possession. Going around the western side is Proven, who slipped the pass away to Lumsden. Lumsden stepped inside here and is brought down and bundled into touch by Arthur Summons. Play on the western side of the Sydney cricket ground as they scrum it up once again. Referee Darcy Lawler standing behind the halfback Arthur Summons, as is his rival opponent Bobby Bugden. And this time it's gone across field to Clay. They shot the ball along the ground there. And it's eventually picked up by Reg Gasnier. Gasnier plays the ball back this time to Ryan. Ryan gives it away to Bugden. Bugden gives an overhead pass going out wide, and picking up the ball this time is Johnny King, who sped for the line. And King's almost in here, gives it away to Brown. And Brown is bundled down there, quickly tackled. But he plays the ball back. Prover makes a dash for the line. The avalanche of the Western Suburbs players hurl him back. And the referee, Darcy Lawler, witness where he went down, decides to put down the scrum. In goes the ball. Bugden shoots this pass away. Pass play has gone to Gasnier. Gasnier trying to break through with Dave Benn on the outside. Gasnier's put down, tackle there by Kelvin O'Shea. Gasnier getting to his feet with Raper in the role of dummy half. Shoots it away to Clay. Clay has support too. Couldn't send the ball out. And has brought down the goalmouth area, marked by Charlton. Ron Clay upon his feet. Plays the ball back this time to Kevin Brown, who shoots the pass away, but a scrum goes down. With Summons working the scrum, in goes the ball. Bugden races around the scrum base. Tried to get the pass out, couldn't do so before being tackled from the scrum that goes down. Summons works the scrum, in goes the ball. And the nice scissors move have been put on here. There's Raper going nicely downfield. Shoots it away this time to Johnny King. And the St George young winger goes in to score. That very nice try, which was timed to perfection by Raper. Here we see the kick that has to be taken by Brian Graham, and there she goes.
Take me away, lovely lady. Oh yes, yes, take me away from all of this.
Take me away, officer. There's nothing much back home I'm gonna miss. Take me away. Please beyond all. Take me away. Oh, take me away. Please, piano.
Save with Cole's cheaper prices on men's 100% fleecy line cotton sweatshirts with ribbed neck, cuffs and waist in a great range of colors. Cole's special price is just $8. For the youngsters, these warm fleecy line sweatshirts come in a terrific range of action prints and colors. Designs may vary from store to store and sizes range from 6 to 14. They're only $7 at Cole's. Specials on sale now at larger New World supermarkets and all variety stores.
Since 1975, the cost of domestic heating oil has risen 300%. In the same period, AGL's domestic natural gas has had no price rise. And while heating oil supplies continue to dry up, as they did last year, natural gas keeps going strong. Find out how easy it is to replace your oil heater with a new Vulcan gas space heater for low-cost wall-to-wall warmth all winter long. Another good reason to get the gas on at your gas center now.
In the Tooth Cup this Wednesday, it's the Eels and the Bulldogs. Defending champions Parramatta are in real trouble, having lost their first-round match, while Canterbury disposed of Eastern Suburbs and are confident that this will be their year to take out the Cup final. The Eels must win and win well, or Canterbury will advance to the quarters with another victory. For all the Tooth Cup action, join Ray Warren and Keith Barnes for the exclusive telecast this Wednesday, 8:30 on League Station 10.
Here we see Lumsden in possession, playing the ball back deep past Provan. They're picking up as Kevin Ryan, St George's forward, who wards off Barsley, but is caught here and brought on the ground with the help of Carson and Charlton. But Martin makes the break for Western Suburbs. Lets the ball go back in field here, and West still have possession. Heading with the back of the boot is Summons. It goes this time to Holman, who tries to get through, is quickly put on the ground. From the play the ball once again, O'Shea gives it away to Charlton. Charlton to Patch. When the scrum it breaks up, here's Lumsden on the burst, taking play very close to the sideline, tackled by Barsley. Eddie Lumsden upon his feet, plays it back to the dummy half in Provan, who gets his supports moving, with the ball being given the full treatment here as Ryan tries to break his way through, but is effectively tackled by the Western Suburbs defence. From the ruck play, Peter Armstrong couldn't pick the one up, but Provan does behind him, gives the pass away to Raper. Raper, a real 80-minute player, is put on the ground from behind. Like Kelvin O'Shea, Johnny Raper lays the ball back to Wilson. Wilson to Ryan. Ryan propped there, decided to go on his own and shot the pass away and starts to Brown. Kevin Brown quickly tackled there upon his feet, plays the ball back once again to Provan, who serves a nice pass up to Raper. Raper going nicely through here. Couldn't get the pass out. But plays amongst the forwards this time as Provan picks up. Norm Provan, a great tower of strength, the veteran of many, most number of games of St George. Couldn't play that ball quite cleanly. And penalty here against Charlton, striking before the ball could be played. And Bryan comes up on the ready, takes this kick, charging down after the ball with the St George forwards, but it's anybody's ball at the moment, as you can see from here, with the ball being tipped around from man to man. And eventually there was Gasnier in full speed, but was recalled for a forward pass. From the scrum it goes down. Bugden flicks it in, darts beyond, gets it away to Clay. From Clay taking it nicely this time as Gaz into Brown. Brown makes the break here. And the young Newcastle boy before coming to St George's at Newcastle has Lumsden alongside of him, gives the pass to Lumsden. And there goes Lumsden. Corner post was knocked down in that incident, but the touch judge, as you see, didn't say he was out. The referee has given the try, a dead set try, and a nice kick from behind by Brian Graham. Both flags are up, a magnificent effort all the way. And so that's the scoreboard that has told many, many tales at the Sydney Cricket Ground. From the scrum it breaks up. We see Summons kicking downfield. This time the ball's caught nicely by Brian Graham. It was just as quickly tackled there from behind. Little short kick taken there by Bugden. Goes right to the hands of Western Suburbs' Kelvin O'Shea, who plays the ball back to the ruck half in Kelly. Kelly clears the ruck with a nice pass going across field to Holman, who darts, goes around the blind side, serves it up to Summons. Summons is tackled by Clay and Dave Brown. Arthur Summons upon his feet, playing the ball back this time to the hands of Martin, who couldn't pick up. And Provan made the fumble there, but the referee has ruled a penalty here, and the scrum goes down. Bugden works the scrum, both hookers ready to strike. Well, it's picked up smartly by Bugden, who makes the break downfield. Turned it back outside to King. King's on his merry way. A nice clean cut of a youngster, young King, who showed great speed there. It was recalled. Down they go once again for the scrum, with Summons getting the pass to Diamond. Diamond coming in as tackled by Clay and heavily dumped by Clay.
Proper Clay, he was one of the toughest little 5'8" I've ever played against. I was very lucky that having a little bit more speed when I played 5'8" against him that year, that I could get outside of him, because when he lined you up and hit you with a good tackle, boy, you knew you was tackled.
We had one of the best pivot men in the world in Brian Clay. God, he was a tough man, you have no idea. Just to mention a little bit about Brian Clay's heavy tackling, just being beside him when he'd hit an opponent, just the crunch of the bones and the wincing and the moans of the player and the thud of the ground, and you look down and see whether the man would recover. And a lot of people said that Clay was a vicious tackler. Clay was a very legal tackler. Let's get that point straight now, because Clay would go in and hit around about the chest, and people used to complain because he was such a solid man. And I'd watch the opponent he used to hit, and I used to feel sorry for them more than anything else. And Clay used to, when I used to talk to him afterwards, he used to say, son, like, you know, he's going to do the same thing to you, so you've got to get in first.
Ryman upon his feet to play this one back to Kelvin O'Shea, who gets it away to Charlton. From Charlton, it's gone to Holman. Holman changes direction, gives the pass back in field, and Western Suburbs have possession. This time it's Carson getting it away once again to Holman. From Holman to Parrish. Parrish out towards the hillside of the Sydney Creek Ground, gets to his feet, and the Magpies have possession, but doing little with it at the moment, as this time it's gone out once again to Patch, who has brought down the great cover defence of St George. A notable feature right throughout the season has been the great cover defence of this mobile pack of St George. Play on the halfway mark this time, with Western Suburbs is Holman in possession, plays the ball back this time, deep picking up. They play directly on the halfway mark. This time it's Charlton who gets his supports moving, with a pass going to Kelly. From Kelly to Hayes, who gives an overheader. Out it goes this time to Parrish. Parrish making the break up towards the full-back Graham. Kicks downfield, but Graham was there to take it. Parrish tries to get to him. But he stepped away, Champion from Parish, was brought on the ground by Arthur Summons. Play on the Paddington end of the St. George 25 yards mark as Wilson gets it, decides to go on his own through the ruck, gives the flick pass back inside to Kevin Browner with Johnny on the spot to pick it up. But Brown is quickly upended. In the role of dummy half is Norm Provan. Provan gives the pass away to Wilson, who's racing wide of the ruck. Once again is brought down here. Good defence by Mark Patch to bring him down. Patch marks Wilson in the play the ball as he plays it forward, then backwards. Provan tries to get in, but the whistle has gone, and a penalty here. And so Brian Graham kicks off downfield, and St. George have possession. Going nicely downfield is Young King, who takes the kick, has tripped from behind here. But the ball's fielded nicely, and Western Suburbs have possession, racing very strongly downfield this time. As Parachute turns the ball back outside to Barsley. Barsley moving out towards the hillside of the Sydney Creek ground, still skirting the touchline, chased from behind, and effectively brought on the ground by Brian Clay. A penalty here. Moving in nicely. Graham, the ball's inside, it looks mighty in the air. And both flags are up, and so Brian Graham's crusty beat again puts 4 points on the board for St. George. Well, one huge sea of faces. Still stopping at the end to see the finale of this game at the moment. 17 St. George and Western Suburbs 0. Now play on the halfway mark to kick off. Time is Holman, who boots it out towards the western side. Going high for the ball this time is Provan. Provan slips it away to Kevin Ryan, who turns the ball back in field and brought on the ground. From the play the ball. It's cleared from the ruck by Wilson, who gets his supports moving, and the pass down to Kevin Brown, the big fellow going straight down the centre here. It's brought down, and St. George still have possession, taking play down towards the Western Suburbs 25 yards mark. Louis Wilson clears the ruck this time, decides to go on his own and shoots it back here. Grabbing the ball high was Ryan, who gets his supports moving this time with a pass going to Raper. Raper in the headgear, veering out towards the western side of the creek ground, is brought down on the halfway mark. He's marked by Patch, but Wilson clears the ruck this time with a pass to Provan. Provan's brought down on the halfway mark, and St. George have possession. Wilson on the ready here to pick up from the ruck, does so too, goes around the blinds on his own, turns the ball back inside here to Kevin Ryan, who's bundled almost into touch. Players dangerously close to the sideline. From the ruck play here, it's Provan, who sends a long pass away here, and it's gone right across field to Brian Clay, who's travelling well downfield, is brought there on the ground by Brown. But the referee, Darcy Lawler, watching play close, as a friendly kick taken by Brian Graham, goes well downfield. Taken nice in the goal mouth area by Parrish, who slipped the pass back in field there to Martin. Martin's on his way on the Western Suburbs 25 yards mark, and still going goalward. Martin scored, brought on the ground here by Brown, marked by Brown on the play the ball. But the referee, Darcy Lawler, has blown the whistles. The players move off now after this most exciting game, with St. George going further ahead. Well, the crowd over on the hillside there, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, stayed right till the end of the season, which rung the curtain down for season 1961.
Breville combined the old and the new and came up with a better idea. The Country Kitchen, the world's first cast-iron electric fry pan, with such controllable and even heat that it can seal in the juices of a steak, simmer a casserole, roast a chicken, or even poach fruit. And it's so easy to wash or wipe clean. The Breville Country Kitchen, a kind of old-fashioned new idea. Breville, better ideas sooner.
I'm going to show you just how easy it is to do business with a bank, even when it's closed. It's Saturday afternoon and I need some cash. So I've come to the Commonwealth Bank because they've just introduced Auto Bank to make our banking much more convenient. Watch how easy it is to use. This is your own key card that you get from the Commonwealth Bank. You slip it in here, then you key in your secret number that no one else knows. To withdraw money, you just press a few buttons. You get a record of your transaction and your money. You can also deposit money, transfer money between your accounts, even draw money on your Commonwealth Bank card. Auto Bank actually shows you what to do. Easy, isn't it? And there's no extra charge. Auto Bank, now at a Commonwealth Bank near you. They're glad to open up to you, even when they're closed.
hold your hair naturally. Fabergé Organics, totally organic hairspray.
Well, there it is, 17-0 at half-time, and no doubt, captain and coach Ken Carney, who was unavailable through injury, he must have been happy with the performance of not only his team, but his acting captain, Billy Wilson. On the other hand, Western Suburbs are in real trouble. The experiment of Keith Holman at 5'8" instead of his usual spot at half-back wasn't successful, but the rain had started to fall, and I think that Western Suburbs could put on a much better performance in the wet in the second half, and they must be at their wits' end to find out just what they can do to stem that St George tide.
Carney told us, he said, well, it's going to be tougher this half because we had a fair go in the first half. Don't rely on that fair go in the second half. Expect something different. And that is what we ran into in the second half. We ran into Western Suburbs continually getting the ball, trying to move the ball around in the forwards themselves. There were some really bitter exchanges in the forwards, and the backs themselves were called upon to do a lot of defence, and thank heavens our back line were able to sort of stand up to the onslaught of the Western Suburbs players themselves.
If you're a good way in front of half-time in the grand final, let's stick there, mate.
From the kick-off, about to take place. As it's driven well downfield here by Holman. Goes down the touch and goal area on the Randwick end of the Sydney Cricket Ground. Rain had started to fall during the afternoon's broadcast, which made the film a little bit murky, which was brought around by the rain that tumbled down. Now we see the ball eluding the grasp of Patch and eventually picked up by St George as they go down in the scrum. Getting the pass away was Holman to Summons, and running off him was Brown, who gets it across field, this time to Parrish, from Parrish to Martin. Martin's dragged on the ground there, taken. Ball and all, the good tackle by Brown to bring him down. From the ruck play, it's gone across field to Summons, from Summons to Parrish. Parrish gives it to Kelvin O'Shea. And moving into Kelvin O'Shea was Bugden to bring him down on the halfway mark. O'Shea plays the ball back this time. It's gone to Charlton. And running off Charlton was Holman, who gave it a further afield to pass here to Martin. Martin's brought on the ground. Play on the halfway mark from the Sydney Cricket Ground, with Western Suburbs in possession. The ball straight back this time to Carson to Charlton, who made the fumble, put it on the ground. Picking up behind him is Arthur Summons, who makes the break up towards the halfway mark. Summons is still going goalward. As Kelly on the outside, couldn't get the pass to Kelly, who couldn't pick up cleanly. And now St George have possession this time. It's gone across field nicely to King. King skirting the touchline, is brought down by Summons and stepped into touch. Now we see the Magpies in possession once again with Kelvin O'Shea, their tall six-footer, being brought on the ground. Number 10, he plays it back to Hayes. Hayes gets the long pass out here, and it's gone across field where Holman looks for support, gets it to, and the pass going across field here to Brown. Brown's brought on the ground, quickly tackled there. Marked by Probyn as Brown as he plays the ball back to Holman. Holman gets it away this time. Out in the flash, picking up as Charlton. Charlton moving into Ryan, but Ryan was there to take Charlton, ball and all. Charlton plays it back this time to Hayes, who clears the ruck this time with a pass going out to Summons. Summons moves in, but a good cover there. But he sends the ball away to Carson. Carson travelling well downfield, is quickly brought down there. But from the play the ball, the Magpies try and probe the St George line, with Summons getting his pass away to Holman. Out from Holman, it's gone to O'Shea. O'Shea tackled here, lets the ball do the job, with the pass going to Parrish, number 2, who's quickly brought on the ground by Kevin Brown. Play very close to the St George line this time as Charlton clears the ruck with a pass going nicely to Patch, from Patch to Holman, who changes direction here, gives a flick pass to Hooker Kelly, who goes straight through on the ground and is tackled by Brown. Kelly marked by Wilson, but he plays the ball back this time. It goes under the legs of Charlton, picked up by O'Shea, who gives it to Hayes. Hayes is quickly tackled there, ball and all, thrown on the ground by Armstrong, the St George hooker. From the play the ball this time, it's given to Patch, from Patch to Holman. Holman has Diamond alongside of him, decides to go himself, shoots the ball away this time, and it's gone across field, and once again Charlton is caught in possession, quickly tackled by Probyn. From the play the ball, Mark Patch picks up here and turns the ball back in amongst the forwards, where Keller, the Western Suburbs hooker, is tackled by Clay. Play close from the St George line here, with Western Suburbs trying to break through here to open up their score. But it's Mark Patch who turns it away this time to Charlton. Charlton sends it further afield this time, and picking up is Kelvin O'Shea. Kelvin O'Shea brought on the ground by Kevin Ryan. Big O'Shea getting to his feet, plays the ball back once again to Hayes. Hayes gives it a long pass here, which is eventually picked up on the rebound by Brown, the Western Suburbs centre three-quarter. But the referee, Darcy Orler, scrums him up this time. Bugden works the scrum, darts behind the scrum, gets it away to Clay. Clay props nicely in field, goes up past the halfway mark, shoots it back inside to Gasnier. Gasnier's brought down there, quickly tackled by Diamond, but Gasnier upon his feet here, plays the ball back to Brown. From Brown, it's gone across field to Probyn. Probyn turns it to Ryan, and Ryan's thrown on the ground here, quickly tackled. Ryan heels at the back of the boot this time. It's gone to Kevin Brown, out in a flash to Clay. They try to break his way through the wall of the defensive Western Suburbs. He loses the ball, picked up by O'Shea. O'Shea moving downfield here, chased by Probin. It tries to fit his boot to the ball, and in doing so sends it back to Brian Graham, the St. George fullback, who takes the ball, comes up, slips, gets to his feet once again, steps away from O'Shea and caught by Diamond. Brian Graham getting to his feet. There's a scuffle here to see who has the ball, but the referee has given a penalty here to St. George against Diamond. From the scrum that breaks up, here's Raper trying to get his way through and was brought down by a good tackle by Kelvin O'Shea. Raper plays the ball back here to the hands of Probin. Probin's on the ground. They scrum it up once again. The rain has fallen at the moment. You can see the umbrellas right throughout the ground as Martin makes the breakthrough downfield, kicks, sending Diamond in after the chase, but the ball eluded both of them. They scrum it up 5 yards from St. George line. West win this one with Summons going nicely through to be caught by the cover defence of St. George. Summons getting to his feet. Plays the ball back once again. It's Hayes who gives the pass away to Charlton. Charlton to Holman. Holman sends it away to Carson. Overhead to Diamond. Diamond has gone without the ball. And once again we see play on the halfway mark with the St. George moving the ball out to Lumsden. Look at Lumsden going for the line. Stepped out of a captive tackle. And Lumsden goes in to score his third try. And referee Darcy Lawler right up to the scene of play for the touchdown by Lumsden. Here we see Brian Graham attempting conversion. And there she goes. Looks mighty close. And both flags are up.
All the good things in a Mars bar help your day. The goodness of milk, glucose, creamy caramel, and thick, thick milk chocolate.
Hey, hey, hey! Mars helps your day! Hey, hey, hey! Mars helps your day!
At last, you can bake beautiful light puff pastry as well as any chef, because now it comes in sheets, ready rolled so you can easily bake it fresh at home. Watch it rise, and rise, and rise. It's Pampas, light golden puff pastry from people who've been making it for over 40 years to help you get perfect baking results. Pampas make them for you to fresh bake them.
You see a whole lot more in the mirror.
You are witnessing a crime, one of the growing number of serious criminal offenses plaguing our city, our suburbs, our streets. What can be done? Day by day this week, Mirror crime reporters uncover Sydney's growing underworld. They talk to the law and the people on the wrong side of it. Their findings are frightening. Face the cold, hard facts about the world of crime, starting tomorrow in the Mirror. Benny's back, and he's funnier than ever.
Don't worry about stains, madam. The easy cleaning will soon get rid of them. You watch. Nothing to worry about, madam. In what battle did Garibaldi die? His last one.
It's the Benny Hill Show with Benny at his wankiest best. Wednesday, 7:30, here on Channel 10.
Rat bags!
Well, that's the score. And that's finally ended the final score. 22 St. George and the Magpies 0. Here we see racing downfield, trying to pick up the ball. But it's picked up smartly by Brian Graham, who moves down, Gazzy, I should say, stepping up towards the halfway mark. Haven't seen a great deal of Gazzy today in this match. But from the play the ball, it's Armstrong. Shovels the ball up once again, and St. George merrily moves the ball this time. And taking it downfield this time is the Western Suburbs defence. We see Kelly passing the ball off the ground. In a flash, it's gone to Mark Patch. Patch goes up the centre of the field, was quickly accommodated and brought on the ground by Kevin Ryan, but Patch plays the ball back this time to Hooker Kelly. Kelly gets it away to Charlton. From Charlton to Summons. Summons with a winding, weaving run. Was quickly brought down there by Wilson. But the ball's played amongst the forwards of Western. Of Charlton who's going through. To be quickly bulldozed to the ground by Kevin Ryan. Charlton upon his feet once again. Plays the ball back this time to Carson. Carson gives a nice pass out to Patch. That's trying to get through there. Couldn't do so. The good tight defence around by the St. George players, particularly their forwards from the ruck play here. Carson turns the ball back inside to Hooker Kelly. Kelly going down towards the halfway mark is quickly brought on the ground. Well, the Western side haven't penetrated the St. George tight defence at this stage. And from the ruck play here, it's gone across field to Holman, who's trying to spearhead his way through. But once again, the feature of this is the great St. George defence. From the ruck play here, a pass goes out to Brown, who kicks well downfield. It's a keen chase. Lumsden picks the ball up down on the Randwick end of the ground and running over towards the hillside of the ground is quickly cut off and brought down, but the ball's played back here in a flash at St. George, who have possession with Raper going up the centre. Grand versatile lock forward, Raper getting to his feet to play to the ruck half in Provan. Provan clears the ruck this time with a pass to Clay, who slipped on the ground, gets up and once again is quickly tackled. Clay this time plays it back once again. St. George have possession with the pass going across field to Ryan. Big Ryan moving downfield once again has met in a sandwich tackle and brought down. Ryan plays the ball back once again, and it's a hard forward sortie. It's Provan breaking the line through here. As support there, gives it away to Davy Brown. St. George 22 and Western Suburbs nil as this scrum breaks up, with Clay shooting the pass across the St. George back line, with Graham coming up to the movement beautifully to be quickly tackled. Graham plays the ball back here, and St. George still dominating Clay. Going up the centre here is Clay, who turns the ball back outside over the head of Provan. Clay kicks downfield once again, charging after the ball is Lumsden, who just couldn't get to it, and picking up alongside of him is Varsley. Play over on the hillside of the Sydney Creek ground. Western Suburbs have possession this time as Kelvin O'Shea sends the ball back inside here to Parrish. Parrish, the Western Suburbs footballer, limping badly at the moment, is quickly brought on the ground there and marked in the play the ball here by Dave Brown, who kicks the ball through. It's picked up by hooker Kelly. Kelly sensing his pass, centre three-quarter going down nicely in Brown. Brown's brought on the ground here. Brown getting to his feet, plays the ball back to Hayes. Hayes gives it away this time, and going through on the burst is Allman, who flicks the pass inside to Diamond. Diamond going downfield here, quickly tackled and brought down by Gasnier. Diamond getting to his feet, plays the ball back to Arthur Summons, and now picking up the ball is Charlton to Patch. Patch wriggles away from the attempt of tackle, races out towards the western side of the ground, and is eventually put on the ground there. Getting up, playing the ball is Patch once again. In the role of ruck half this time is Allman, who gets it away to Kelly. Kelly gives a long pass this time to Kelvin O'Shea. O'Shea's brought on the ground. Western Suburbs playing St. George here in the grand final at the Sydney Cricket ground, with time spinning out from the Magpies. St. George 22, Western Suburbs nil, taking the ball on the burst this time is Charlton. Charlton's caught in centre field, and the Western Suburbs skipper plays the ball back here, and West have possession here with a pass going from O'Shea out to Kelly. Kelly wriggling away there, trying to get through, turned the ball beautifully inside here, and it's along the ground, and eventually picking up here this time is Brown. Brown brought on the ground here, play over on the hillside of the Sydney Cricket ground. Western Suburbs have possession. The ball's booted through by the St. George forward. Moving nicely with the ball this time is Charlton. Charlton quickly upon his feet here to play this one back. Picking up is Kelly. Kelly gives it away once again to Summons. Summons, the spearhead here today for Western Suburbs, is brought on the ground. He plays the ball back in a flash. It's gone across field to Martin, out to O'Shea. Western Suburbs backs are standing a little flat-footed with St. George taking play up to them this time. Racing downfield with the ball is Hayes. Hayes brought on the ground and quickly tackled. Western Suburbs have possession. The crowd are still standing by to see the official score here. As I speak, I see going through is Holman. Holman brought on the ground, gives it to Charlton. Big Charlton moving downfield on the western side of the ground. Stepped into touch, and they scrum it up once again. Here's Keith Holman playing his last game in retirement at the Sydney Creek ground. Working the scrum, getting it to, sends it away this time to Summons. Summons gives it back inside here. But players on the halfway mark with West in possession. This time it's Martin who clears the ruck with a pass going across field. This time the Parrish switches it back inside to Martin, who backs up nicely to come back into the play. They scrum it up once again. Here's Holman getting his pass away to Summons. Summons trying to break his way through the tight St. George defence. But St. George standing right up upon Western Suburbs and giving nothing away. They're going on to be for their 6th consecutive premiership, which no doubt will constitute a world's record. Here we see St. George still moving the ball, going downfield on the opposite side is Lumsden. Lumsden's almost through here, but is bundled into touch there. Tackled very smartly by Parry. St. George have possession here once again from the rocket. Brown, who gives it this time to Ryan. From Ryan to Bluey Wilson, and the St. George skipper brought on the ground here and quickly tackled. Wilson plays the ball back once again. In a flash, it's gone amongst the St. George forwards. It's play on the outside, but Hooker Armstrong going nicely through to be quickly upended. Players down the St. George 25 yards mark this time. And once again, it's Bluey Wilson coming to the picture, sending Clay on his way. Clay gives it across field this time at St. George's. David Brown moving nicely downfield. Stepped out of an attempt of tackle, was brought down by Parrish. Dangerously close to the sideline is Clay. In the dying stages of this game, St. George trying to put more points up on the board. And racing through nicely is Gasnier. Gasnier is brought down from the line. They scrum it up once again. In goes the ball. Blocked in the tunnel, but West have it. With Holman picking up at the base of the scrum on the hillside of the Sydney Cricket ground. He plays the ball back in this time, right to the hands of Patch, who gets his supports moving. With a pass going right amongst the three-quarters where Brown gives it away here to Parrish. Parrish is put on the board of his back here. Parrish getting up, playing this ball back to the ruck half in Charlton. Charlton picks it up and gives a one-handed pass out here, and a flash it's picked up by Martin. Martin steps away from the attempt of tackle, but caught by the St. George cover defence. Marked in the play, the ball here by Provan, but he plays the ball back this time. Carson switches direction with a pass to Holman. Holman's caught and trapped here, sends the ball back infield, and racing downfield is Barsley. Young Barsley moved nicely through there. Shoots the pass away to Summons. Summons has the rubber kick here along the ground and kicks it into no man's land, but they're coming down, picking up this time once again. This is George's full King. King getting to his feet, plays the ball back to Ryan. Ryan to Clay. Clay has support. The pass going out to Brian Graham, who moves out towards the hillside of the creek ground, gives a floating pass to Lumsden, who pulled it down nicely. Chased from behind by Patch, and eventually tripped down there, but gets up to regain his balance, gets away from O'Shea, and the touch judge alongside of him, Lumsden, puts his boot to the ball. It's a keen chase down the touch and goal area, and it's mighty close. A doubtful effort here, this conversion, but the referee, Darcy Gawler, has ruled no try.
Throughout history, man has searched for the perfect cup of coffee, not always with great success. Now Breville and Melita have joined forces to bring you the perfect cup of coffee with the perfect coffee maker. The Melita coffee maker brings out all the coffee aroma, is very easy to use, and comes in 12, 6, and 2 cup sizes. When Melita invented the filter coffee maker, they created history. Breville bring you the rewards. Breville, better ideas sooner.
It's McDonald's biggest, richest promotion ever. McDonald's $1 Million McMatch and Win. Over $1 million in prizes. Famous Rank Arena TVs, sound systems, dishwashers, refrigerators, freezers, microwave ovens, video cassette recorders and cameras. Plus Ronald McDonald watches and McDonald's menu items. Just match the other half of the ticket and you're a winner. Win instant prizes too. Come to McDonald's and play McDonald's $1 Million McMatch and Win. Over 1 million prizes means thousands of winners every day.
The best thing about Gemini, Australia's top-selling small car, is not just its superb styling, not just its great performance or its outstanding 4-cylinder economy. The best thing about Holden Gemini is that it keeps on going and going and going, long after others give up the ghost. If durability counts, Holden Gemini has got to be the best 4-cylinder value in Australia.
Whole wheat gives your body protein for building muscles. Whole wheat gives you carbohydrate for energy. Whole wheat gives you B group vitamins and minerals for nutrition. And whole wheat gives you bran for daily health. Wheat Bix, the whole wheat breakfast from Sanitarium.
Terry takes the penalty kick here, driving it well downfield. Brian Graham going across field at leisure. But it's picked up over on the far side, and St George have possession. The crowd are standing right to the end of this game with umbrellas up. It's been a murky day, the rain tumbling down from time to time, but the game's all over, bar the shouting. And so St George today have gone on to their 6th consecutive Rugby League Premiership, and the runners-up are Western Suburbs. The players are being congratulated after this hard-fought game, which was never in doubt right from the commencement. Although Western Suburbs tried very hard, the Premiers were a hard nut to crack. Here's Louis Wilson being cheered by his teammates coming off the field of play with photographers racing across. And as you can see, the crowd over on the hillside still standing by to watch this great presentation of Rugby League, the greatest game of all. Well, now we see great many amongst the crowds here, and it's a wonder some of the folk haven't come over the fence. There's the chairman of the Rugby League, Mr. Bill Buckley, out on the field of play with the Alderman Harry Jensen, the Lord Mayor of Sydney, with his presentation about to be taken place. The J.J. Gilton Machine will be on view very shortly. The most famous shield in Rugby League. There's Keith Holman being interviewed, being chaired off the field, and the man of the moment, Killer Carney, being congratulated by his teammates, coaching them to victory after 5 consecutive years. Here's Brian Clay, the man of the hour, judged by all and sundry as the best player on the field that day.
I was very, very pleased to be given the man of the match award, or whatever you call it. In those days, there was nothing financial gain, but to play good in the grand final is something that everybody wants to do, and I was very, very pleased that I got man of the match.
And now we see the Lord Mayor, Alderman Harry Jensen, and Bill Buckley shaking the hands of the skipper of St George, the veteran of many hard-fought games, Louis Wilson. Now coming across to pick him up are the boys of St George. He's a real hero of today, and the skipper as they pick up the J.J. Gilton shield, going around with it now as young King and Louis Wilson, and the proud St George boys, wonderful in victory, and Western Suburbs just as equally in defeat. There's the boys really enjoying themselves as they go around with the most famous J.J. Gilton and shield.
It wasn't such a runaway, but they just got the breaks and that was it. But would have been nice to have finished on my career on that particular day as a winning team, but unfortunately it wasn't to be, and we didn't do so.
Well, there it is, another great grand final win to St George. But Western Suburbs did improve in that second half and confined St George to only 5 points, despite the fact that they didn't score themselves. But this was just the start of a three-match grand final series between St George and Western Suburbs. They played in the grand final 61, 62 and 63, and who'll ever forget that grand final of 1963 in the mud on the Sydney Cricket Ground when St George won by the bare margin of 8 points to 3. We'll be showing that later in the series of the greatest games of all, but next week we come to that wonderful test series between Great Britain and Australia in 1962. We'll be showing you the highlights of the first, second and third test, a series which ended with the dominance of Great Britain over Australia, because Australia next year took the Ashes in England in 1963. But the highlights next week will be certainly worthwhile seeing, and I'll hope you join me again for another in the series of the greatest games of all.
Great late-night viewing follows in Federico Fellini's spectacle in colour and pageantry, Satyricon, following in just a moment on 10. And don't miss the Tooth Cup on Wednesday night when Parramatta meet Canterbury. The Tooth Cup, Wednesday night, 8:30 on 10.
Brought to you by Breville. Better ideas sooner.
Hi, I'm Patrick Duffy, and I think it's terrific that Dallas is so popular here in Australia. One of the reasons is the story.
All you have now is a feeling you're being followed. The feeling isn't much to go on.
Someone is following me, and I am not going to put up with it any longer.
No, Sue Ellen, I am not having you followed. You want to know why? Because I just don't give a damn.
Sue Ellen receives the surprise of her life Tuesday in Dallas at the later time of 9:30 on 10.
Rah, rapids!
Ladies and gentlemen, Agatha Christie.
On a December night in 1926, Agatha Christie, the most successful novelist of all time, vanished without trace for 11 days.
What's the force?
I went to the office today. I saw her.
What occurred during those lost days remains a mystery.
I'm delighted to have finally met the husband of the famous Agatha Christie.
Sunday, Vanessa Redgrave as Agatha, in a story with all the trappings, suspense and surprises of a classic mystery.
Like the electric chair in the United States.
Only one woman could plan the perfect crime.
You're in trouble. I know something is very wrong.
Dustin Hoffman is the only man who could stop her. Helen Morse becomes her very special friend.
We can't just let things happen to us.
You are like your books are. Always a surprise ending.
A blueprint for murder. A desperate search. A race against time. Agatha, for the very first time, Sunday, 8:30, 10. Brought to you by Rankarina Color Television. There's always something interesting happening in the restless years. See it Monday through Friday at 7.
This is Star Station 10.
Could not bury me. Listen, the sea could not smother me. Rage and storm, though she might the whore. I am in Colpio. I am penniless. I am banished my home. I am fugitive from justice. My hands stained with blood. I am alone, abandoned, utterly wretched. And who is it condemned me to this solitude? A shit of a man, marked by every vice. A third of a person should be banished by his own admission. A shilto! A young man who seeks to liberate himself through his wantonness. You may use him any way you like. He hires himself out as a woman does, that bastard. And as for that tartcha Tony, that one wears a skirt like he wasn't born a man. A boy who played the hoe in prison. Down with his clouts and face to the wall for every bull. What shame, what shame. But worse still, he is a faithless wretch after all I've done for him. He's capable of such infamy. The pair of them laugh at me. I'm not at all well in myself. I love you, Chitone. I love you still and will not share you with a Shilto. You are myself, my soul. Listen, you are the sun. Listen, you are the sea sweeps drunken over me. You are divinest of divine and wrenched from me cruel by a Shilto. I must find you no matter what, or I'm not a man. I shall find you. I shall. A Shilto! A Shilto!
He caught me with after my hide. Oh, he is vindictive. I made away with his little friend, and he doesn't like it, though he deserves all he gets. The assassin, the night prowler, like a bird of prey, he strikes. Encolpio, the thief, grabbing at all that glitters. While he slipped, I tripped Gittone from under him and slid into him myself. Such is friendship, very accommodating, sweet and sullen. At first, the boy would not have me pick his flower. Maybe he was sleepy. But I drew my other sword and showed it, saying, "See, Lucretia, here comes your trusty Tarquin." A famous actor has him now, offered and sold to him. I sold all for a handful of coin, which is why I shall never be loved. Wandering later in the city, a good family man found me, brought me to the bath, shyly held me by the hand, there in that niche, and come, insisted. So I came. And here comes Encolpio, livid, come to search me out and put his case. I shall have to fight or run. Me? Is it me you look for, Encolpio? Come here. Where is Gittone? Where's Gittone?
Sold, love, sold.
Where's Gittone?
Sold him to Pinocchio, the actor. I'm sorry, love.
Louder.
Skyvola. Non ne fa speghi. Ma dimentica!
And thus is punished my right arm, which has failed me.
Kalendisional Sabing, Wingwet Begindi, Andos, Kaiser Naduse.
Erikite Kaiseri.
Auge Kaiser!
Auge Kaiser! Attenu! Fermez Jupiter! Faghet utudenu, Abias, Nanu!
How fortunate are we each day to see new miracles from our divine theater. Demonstration waiting. Caesar, the master of all, and Eros with his quiver of lust, descend to earth.
Pinocchio, you will hold your peace. That boy belongs to me.
Here is a traitor, an important personage.
That young man is mine. You do well to give him back at once.
So senator, so noble. Step up, your grace. Vernacchio's house is at your command. Coraggio. All right. First, I want to present my family. And my slaves. And the dog! Tony, get down at once. Oh, my youth, he's slender, plump, and the only cost me 30 denarii. A suckling pig so plump would cost more today.
See here, Pinocchio. Such a fine actor, famous. Having seen you perform, I know how famous you are, I do. But I repeat, the pretty rascal's mine. That crazy bastard cheated you. He had no authority in selling what is mine. The law will not uphold it. Asciutto cheated you and me. Gittone will come with me.
I will have the rascal for 40 sesterzi.
He's so pretty. 45.
Perhaps 60 will be enough for him, eh?
No.
Signori, a grave question I pose. I ask you, citizens, who will sell his wife? He is my wife. He keeps my bedclothes warm. He is adept in the great art of theatrics. He will make you a perfect woman. Helen with Menelaus, lovely Penelope, and Cornelia. Such treasure is prized.
I return the sum you paid. That's perfectly fair. Gittone then comes with me.
No, never. Period. What I say?
Pinocchio, you go too far. You are becoming intolerable. You have been punished once for joking about Caesar. Well punished. Perhaps you want more. Shall I take away your theater? The young man is to have his little slave, or you shall have your theater burned about your ears.
No, may I say that,
Too far, Vernacchio. You trespass upon our patience.
Signor, please, for pity, do not destroy my theater. I beg you. Vernacchio submits. Vernacchio is obedient. Caesar knows that. Oh.
Electric City. Norman Ross's Electric City.
And now customers at Norman Ross Electric City, it's Sanyo Week. Breeze through your wash days with its Butte Sanyo Compact Washer. You can select from 3 automatic wash programs and water levels. Yours this week for just $249.
Norman Ross's Electric City.
Here's the magnificent 53-centimetre colour TV from Sanyo. All the latest features plus a 4-year warranty on the tube. Put yourself in the picture for only $539. And listen to this. We've slashed $20 off the Sanyo car stereo system. The complete outfit, including the 16-centimetre flush mounted